Hello, I'm Warren Lynch and this is News 6. This week the program was prepared by the students of Old Fort School in Old Fort, Ohio. The Old Fort School is a small school. Our student population for kindergarten through grade 12 is 541 pupils. Our school system consists of two buildings sitting side by side on the south edge of Old Fort, a rural town in Seneca County. One building, built in 1955, holds kindergarten through grade 7. The other building is the high school, built in 1918 for grades 8 through 12. Our system is in the process of building a large addition to the high school. With the addition to the high school, next year the 7th grades will move from the elementary to the high school, which means in the fall our class will get to enjoy being in the new building and being with the high school students. The addition will include a better equipped library and many new classrooms. With the move comes the possibility that our class will be able to take some different courses, such as industrial arts, foreign languages, and pottery classes. The addition is being built by Mosier Construction Company and will cost a little over $1 million. This building is just the beginning of Old Fort's building program. Future plans include a new gym, new cafeteria, and improvements to the auditorium. In this time of financially troubled schools, we are lucky to be able to build a new school. The newly built Columbia gas plant in our district has helped enable our system to do this. Now, with more stories from the Old Fort School, here's Amy Wiesner.
Thank you, Warren. Even though our school is small, we have some big students. One of these is 6' 6" Dave Smith, who was named UPI Player of the Year for all the state of Ohio in Class A. Dave played center on our Old Fort Stockader varsity basketball team. Dave averaged 29.4 points and 17.7 rebounds this game. Two other big people from our small school are Gerald Haskins, grade 3, and Tim Albee, grade 5. Old Fort is very proud of these boys. This is the second year Old Fort has been asked to participate in the International Art Exhibit. This year's exhibit was held in Tokyo, Japan in March 1977, and our two boys' exhibits won several silver awards from 7,312 entries from 62 countries. The boys will receive a certificate and a medal. Gerald's picture was a crayon and paint resist of Halloween night, and Tim's was a chalk drawing on wet paper, a tree in fall. Their works of art are now part of a traveling art show designed to promote world peace by showing life in our country. This art show will travel all over the world, visiting all the countries who participated. Now, with stories of more people involved in the Old Fort community and school system, here's Bess Dober.
Thank you, Amy. One of the more popular people at school is Mrs. Leah Keisel, our custodian. Mrs. Keisel is unique because she is also one of only 2 women in Ohio who have their low-pressure boiler operator's license. Being a low-pressure boiler operator is dangerous because of the combination of pressure and fuel, but Mrs. Keisel enjoys her job. 2 members of our class, Linda Gilmore and Barb Gobble, got a chance to interview Mrs. Keisel.
When and why did you decide to get your license?
Well, I decided to get, first of all, when I first started to work here, I was just a custodian. And then I got interested in watching the other men operate the boilers, and I started asking questions, and then after more questions, they started to train me on the boilers and teach me how to operate the boilers.
How much training is required for a low-pressure boiler operator license?
The training, you have to have 1 year's experience of working on the boilers, and then you have to have an 8-week course at school, in a school like I went to Terra Tech College in Fremont, and that's where I took my schooling.
Are you glad that you have your license?
Yes, very glad. I enjoy it very much. It's very interesting to see how the machinery operates and what all makes it work.
What is your favorite leisure activity?
Oil painting mostly. I do a lot of oil painting with oils. I do landscape and scenery. and or seascapes, things like this.
We want to thank Mrs. Keisel. Operating boilers is a family career. Mrs. Keisel has a younger brother who builds boilers and an older brother who runs high-pressure boilers. Another celebrity in Old Fort is the husband of our teacher, Mrs. Huber. He has been racing cars for the past 7 years. This year he will be racing at Nova. Mr. Huber is the only person we know in the community of Old Fort that races. Now over to Dan Miller with more news from Old Fort.
Thank you, Beth. How would you like to have a bridge for a house? Near Old Fort is the foundation of the Old Fort Bridge, which is all that is left since the flood of 1913. Near the remains of the bridge, there is a house that was built from the wood of the bridge. David Heilman, a classmate, asked Jake Swihart, the owner of the house, about its history.
The house was built sometime after the 1920s. The bridge, covered bridge back here on the river, went out in 1913 in the flood. And a railroad company came down here and put a big hawser around this end of the bridge so it wouldn't go down the river, you see, and take out the bridge they had down there, the railroad bridge particularly. Well, after the water receded, why, a gentleman lived next door here, was given the privilege of tearing down the bridge and using a material that was in it. And he did that. When the bridge drifted off the abutment, come to this left side of the river, left bank of the river, and he pulled the material up there on the river bank and built a barn, kind of a shelter for the equipment that he was using. And after that, the material was brought up here to the road, and a lot of good material in it yet, especially framing material. So this house is framed from lumber taken off the old bridge, see?
We want to thank Mr. Swihart for his time and information. Last summer, the Old Fort community had a big bicentennial celebration, and we planted a time capsule. The capsule is due to be opened in 25 years in July of 2001. The time capsule stands next to a memorial of the site of the original Old Fort after which the town was named. Now back to Warren for the final story.
Thank you, Dan. Earlier in the broadcast, we talked about how even though things in Old Fort were small, we had a lot of big people. Well, basketball players and artistic ability aren't the only things that grow at the Old Fort School. All around the outside of the kitchen of the elementary school is blacktop, but that didn't stop a hardy mushroom. After 7 years of laying underneath the blacktop, the mushroom pushed its way through the hard surface and saw the light of day. On that happy note, we close the Old Fort edition of News 6. From the students and teachers of Old Fort School, have a good day.